Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts for tonight, Jake, and I'm joined, as always, by the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the Frenchman himself, Steven. Lesson! Steven.
You remembered.
There you go.
Hey, I don't
Came up
claim
with
that country. Hi.
Steven. Oh, wait, no. That's
I don't
Steven.
claim that
There we
country.
go. Got my fingers mixed up there. There you go. And I'm also joined by the Six Student Video Games, the god of headshot and loot. We call him Big Jerem, but his name's Jeremy. What's up?
How's it going?
Pretty
Been a
good.
while.
Pretty good. I know it has been a while since we've had old Jerem back. I've tried to get Jerem on a stream, but then we somehow did not know that the game we had been planning for months just isn't. It's only local player.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
So anyway, what's up in the chat? We've got Devil's Aces coming from YouTube and Facebook, or YouTube and Twitch. So very exciting. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chortlecast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We have a great show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about our most anticipated games of 2022. Which is a fun set of numbers to say. This is something that we do. Usually this is the first podcast of the year that we always do. We skipped last week. Steven was in France. We're maybe, I don't know that we're really going to talk about that.
No.
We'll save that for next podcast. Let that mull in Steven's mind.
I got yelled at by a Burger King bouncer because he thought I was trying to go into Burger King and I wasn't. And it made me not want to interact with anyone ever again.
So
just standard French stuff. Yeah.
Just to get on a small tangent here. Yeah. Why did the Burger King need a bouncer, Steven? That's what I want to know.
Jake, I like to think that France is a magical place where Burger King is considered fine dining. It's not, but
it's a place worthy of a bouncer.
Basically, if you go inside anywhere in France, or at least in Paris, you have to have a health pass, which is a QR code that it contains all the documentation that you are vaccinated, negative COVID, all that kind of stuff. And so really that's what he was looking for. But he was very presumptuous, thinking that just because I stopped for like 2 seconds, like 10 feet within 10 feet of the Burger King door, that I was trying to bring COVID into his establishment.
Wow, that's awesome. Devil's Aces, we do not really play Dead by Daylight, so thank you for the code, but you can go give that to somebody else. Because we played that once, and I'm pretty sure Steven hated me afterwards. I forget why.
That sounds about right.
I enjoyed myself in my own way, but I'm never going to play it again.
There you go. Anyway, most anticipated games of 2022. That's what we're going to be going through. We each have 5 games, and I'll call it a rotating list of 5 games because we don't know everybody's picks, but I think we all kind of know who's going to pick what. So I actually have 16 games that I wrote down. I have a starting 5 that I'm working from, but I might flip in a few if Steven puts one down somewhere. But anyway, so we'll have a wider breadth of games that we'll talk about. But this is going to be games that we're most anticipating in 2022. Now, the rules here, and I don't know, I really botched this up last year. I'll just tell you, if you go back and watch 2021's most anticipated games, it's pretty much the list I'm going to give you right now. So I apologize. I don't know how that happened. In fact, I'm just going to blame COVID. So there you go. But the idea is that we have picked games that at the bare minimum have had a trailer that at the end said 2022. So that's kind of the rule I've given the gentleman. I think they actually are a little bit tighter on that than I am.
How many of your games have an official title, Jake?
An official title?
Yes.
All but one. Okay. Funnily enough.
It last year, same question. from
Look.
Did we know Horizon Forbidden West was called Forbidden West when it was on your list?
Oh, yes, we did know that. We did know that. There's only one game that you can make that joke about, Steven, but it's a very valid joke. It's a good joke. It's a good joke, but I still
I'm excited for the new Avatar game, Devil's Ace, for sure.
That's one I still want to see more about. It's not on my list here.
I am bitter, so no. I'm gonna say no. I'm not excited about the new Avatar game.
So why are you bitter about it?
Because they took away development that should be going to Division to make a game that no one asked for.
Oh God, Steven.
I went there.
They can't always appease me and you, okay?
What if they started?
It's one thing that they can't always, but to not always, you have to have done it at least once. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go down our list. What I'd like to do, gentlemen, I'd like to start at your number 5 most anticipated game. And I'll start just to get us kicked off here.
Well,
mine's not really in a particular order.
I understand.
Just take the links in the order which I gave them to you.
Great. Okay.
The numbers are going to be backwards if we're going.
Great. I understand. But we're going to do it in bottom to top order. But since at least for me, I have a pretty wide breadth of games that I've written down, so I would like to leave it open for at the end if we want to drop some quick honorable mentions,
some bonus.
Yeah, we'll do that at the end. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on those, but we can do some quick mentions. If there was one that you were like, oh, I really wanted to talk about this one, but it's not the one that's the most anticipated or whatever. So anyway, with all of that said, I'm going to begin our list. I'm going to bring in my video feed here, flip it around a little bit. So I'm going to start us off, gentlemen, with a little game that Steven is not very excited about.
Is this? Please don't make me talk about this
that game.
Jake, please don't make me talk about this damn game. Oh my God! Jake, please don't make me talk about this damn game.
Why is hang on.
Oh my God! Please don't make me talk about this damn game.
There we go. Hang on. There we go. Big echo. Was not sure where that echo was coming from. Anyway, Forspoken. That is the game I have written down here as my number 5 most anticipated of 2022. Now, there's a lot of controversy floating around, at least in my head, because Steven has so much controversy about it.
I don't like. I want to not care about this game. I want to just let the people who are going to enjoy this game, and
but he can't.
Steven, he can't
just let people enjoy it.
No. I want to be as far away from this as possible. And I even told Jake, I was like, hey, I don't want to talk about this game. It's not going to be fun for anybody to talk about. And so Jake's like, number 5, Forspoken.
Number 5. So if you haven't seen much of Forspoken, I've got a trailer running. If you're a video watcher, if you're an audio listener, go back or just look up Forspoken's trailer. There's some controversy around the story. They're definitely trying to do some, as Steven would put it, some woke storytelling.
Don't put that on me.
I think there
could don't put that on me.
Don't put it on me.
I think there could be some there could be some pitfalls for the story to fall into, but I don't care about any of that. The reason this is number 5 on my list is the gameplay. It's this fast pace. You're running around, jumping around. You're casting spells, like really, really cool spells. Like one that just popped up on screen was this water ball that like sucks up enemies, and I know you can make it explode and do all sorts of stuff. Like the magic just looks really in depth and really, really cool. So, and again, here we're seeing some movement. She's just kind of flying around, running around really fast. She did almost like a web zip with magic. So anyway, the magic and the gameplay in this game looks amazing, and I'm really excited to see where it goes and what you can do with it. You can you can collect nail paint. That's like an item in the game that affects your stats. So
what? Okay.
Yeah, nails are equipment.
The nails, yeah, it is. But
let
look at this gameplay.
Let me know when you're done so that I can talk about why that's a problem and why I have a problem with this game.
Look at this gameplay. That's all I've got to say. All right, this gameplay looks
Jake, I am on your side. The gameplay looks phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I could care less about the story.
The gameplay looks slick, but
I could not care less about the story. Excuse me.
I will say the gameplay does look like it's going. It looks like a tech demo that's being made into a full game. Like I'm getting Order 1886 vibes from it, to where
yeah,
it's going to be short-lived, but quality, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Order 1886 is a great example for this because I am one of the probably few people that really enjoyed that game.
I freaking loved that game.
I
Jeremy,
never
I'm so
beat it,
glad.
but
I absolutely loved it.
I really wanted to. I just never got around to it.
I feel so alone.
So
Jeremy,
much.
all the time.
Loved it.
I thought it was great, but so
Yeah.
I could understand that comparison, Steven, just of technically it looks amazing. If the gameplay feels as good as it looks, it's going to be awesome. This definitely is. I'm with you guys.
That's not just Chortlecast. That's every day.
So Devil's Aces says Chortlecast, but Steven just hates everything Jake does. That is 100%. You understand our brand now.
Yes.
Yeah.
two streams, and you totally understand us now.
Bounce between who I back.
Exactly.
So
let me. So anyway, I'm kind of with you guys. The story doesn't matter as much for me. Like I'm hoping it'll be good, and I'm hoping that I end up liking it. Not to say that I'm hoping I like it, but the gameplay is what I'm really here for, and that I'm just super excited.
So the gameplay, like I said, and not to crap on your number 5 most anticipated, the gameplay looks fun. It looks slick. It looks very, very pretty.
Not to crap on it, but
not to crap.
But aside from just the vibe that I'm getting, that it's gonna be either really short or lacking depth or really empty or whatever else. But the controversy, if you want to call it controversy, I don't want to call it that because I don't want to act like I care, because I don't care about this game. It's not made for me. And I was reading an article this week that was an interview. It was written by a writer over at GameSpot, and it was an interview with the people who were making Forspoken, and they were just like, oh, we would really want to make a story about a strong female character in a world with strong female characters and yada, 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 stuff you've heard before, which I read that and I was like, okay, so this just isn't for me. But the part that just made me laugh and also cringe is that the writer of the article was like, there aren't enough black people on the writing staff, so are they really going to be able to capture the experience of a black woman experiencing this fantasy world?
Oh god.
And so it's just like, this is why, in my opinion, and this is how it is because my opinion is correct in this case. So it's don't say I really want to make a statement or I really want to do this thing that is agenda based or whatever else, because that kind of crap's going to happen. Because you're not going to be remembered for the things you tried to do. You're going to be remembered for the things that you didn't do. Just tell a good story. And if it resonates with people, fantastic. It has to resonate with somebody because it resonated with the writer. But don't just be like strong female character, everybody loves those, and stop there, because it's not enough. Same with any kind of male character.
I feel like they came up with really great magic gameplay and stopped there.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's
we'll see. It's still to be determined, right?
Like,
we've got to see the game.
It feels like it was made into a tech demo, and like someone at Sony went into the break room and they were like, hey, we got this tech demo. Who wants to make a game out of it? And one table was just like, we'll do it.
I don't.
And so they just
I didn't. No. I kind of blinked during who was making it, but I don't know that it's necessarily a PS exclusive.
It's a Square Enix.
It's Square Enix.
Yeah. There you go.
They were actually trying to get the orders for the lunch, and the guy raised his hand, and they were like, hey, who wants to do the game? And he still had his hand up, trying to get his lunch order in. So they were like, oh, awesome. Your team can work on that. And he's like, what? What are we working on?
Unfortunately, his team's all white, so they're a bunch of
all white males.
Actually, no. The Amy, I can't remember her last name, but the woman who was responsible for a lot of Uncharted is involved in this game.
Oh wow. Then why don't you love it? Uncharted.
Because Uncharted resonated with me, and absolutely nothing about this resonates with me.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the kind of game where, like, I used Last of Us 2 as an example, saying that this game's not going to be fun to talk about no matter where you stand on the fence.
Yeah.
But for me, Last of Us 2 made me mad because it was insulting. This, I just want to stay as far away from it as possible. I want to let people who are going to enjoy it, and just not be involved because it's not for me.
That's fair.
Go enjoy your game. If it does do something to piss me off, you'll hear from me quite soon. But
well, speaking of things that don't piss Steven off, Steven, what is your number 5 game, most anticipated game?
Go ahead and roll the footage just to make sure that you got the right one.
I'm going to roll that beautiful bean footage right now.
Obviously, it's Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, which we know pretty much nothing about other than it's the expansion.
The sun's coming out?
The sun is coming out, allegedly. I don't know when it left. Or maybe the sun's breaking, and that's what's going to cause it to leave.
The sun breaks, and it disappears, and all the new monsters come out to play.
Basically, that's how it works. If you played Monster Hunter World had Iceborne. This is Rises.
This has Sunbreak.
Which that had to have been intentional. Like,
right.
Just the thematic parallels. But it's just more Monster Hunter. That's all I need. You know? Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. That's all
okay,
we really
know.
It's going to have
fair enough. You're going to have dragons. You get new Palamute costumes.
I think Master is that the Brody would know, but whatever is above high rank, I think it's Master rank. So there's a whole new armor tier above the because it goes low rank, high rank, and then Master rank when this comes out. So technically new hunts for all the existing monsters because there has to be Master rank versions of those monsters, and it's just more time spent in Monster Hunter, which is a good time.
It is always a good
time. Wish I hadn't lost Rise.
I know.
I will literally purchase it for you if that's what it takes. I need people.
It's not that I didn't enjoy it. I just, for some reason, the game card just jumped out of my Switch and ran away.
Yeah, I forget. Maybe actually, it was the 2021 best of. But I think Steven talked about Rise, and I'll say it again. I'm always up to stream Rise. It's not something I'm going to play in my own time. But I'm happy to stream it with you, my buddy.
Yeah, same. It's not something that I play by myself, but I'll play it with others.
I will get you a copy if I need to, Jeremy. Devil's Ace. You're new around here, right? How dare you?
You're new around. Look, Devils, you figured out.
I mean, you're on the money, but how dare you?
You have already.
That one's way too on brand for
Steven. Oh man. I'm really not an angry person. I just am an opinionated person. There's a difference.
Well, but most of the time, you're a well-informed, opinionated person. Like, you do the research on what you hate.
Don't hate me because my opinion's different. Hate me because of the other reasons that you can't
argue against me. Hate because you can't argue against it.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Akeem said that's the most on-spot statement I've seen in a while.
How dare you,
That's
Akeem?
so funny.
He says it in your tone.
Whose side are you on? Okay, Jeremy, I know you said you didn't really have it in a specific order, but I'm throwing it to the first one that you had listed in the private chat here. So
yeah, that's fine.
If you're ready to talk about it, I'm going to bring it up and hit that beautiful play button. What you got, Big Jeremy?
Oh boy. You guys saw me and Steven stream the crap out of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're finally releasing the second one. This one's Sons of the Forest. And I'm beyond excited for it.
You get a cool four-legged, four-armed wife, you know?
Evidently, yep. There's new weapons coming out. It looks like there's a different dynamic with the characters. Like, you can actually force them to do stuff for you. It looks like Twitch says that we're playing Origami 3.
I'm fixing
it. Yeah, I don't know
if I can do it's pretty much the Forest Part 2. It's Sons of the Forest. That's the new name for it. And it's supposed to be a direct sequel to it. I don't know if you're actually playing the character If you guys did watch our stream at the very end, it shows that the sun goes back to like the real world or like the regular city, and you see like his skin bubble, and there's some freaky things that go on, but
this one looks wild.
Yeah.
Like the first one was fantastic, but this one just looks like it's upping
they're a little bit more overboard with the like caliber of the enemies, and I am here for it. Love it.
I just have to chuckle.
Yep.
Because at the end it said 2021.
We
are in 2022. But hey, that gives me more credence for it actually landing in 2022.
I think that's the one that actually has a release date in 2022, though.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it does have a release date. It's May, I want to say.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, this is awesome. May
20th.
This is a great example of a game of someone who made a game that was probably a little bit of a passion project.
Yeah.
People received it well enough that they got the green light to go bigger and better for the next one, and they went bigger and better. And
if I'm not mistaken, it was in beta for like 8 months or something like that. The original one.
Yeah.
And then it got picked up and got ported to PlayStation and Xbox. So I love to see independent companies like that.
Strike my number 4 from the record. That'll be an honorable mention.
And I apologize. I am still somewhat sick if y'all can't hear it. So.
Oh, you're fine. You're totally fine.
It's basically becoming as much of a channel gimmick as me hating everything. Is everyone being sick at some point? Because like December, I don't think I had a single piece of channel content I was part of when I wasn't either feeling like puking or just sick from a cold. So just keeping the trend going, Jeremy.
I love it.
Yes,
great picks, Jeremy, on Sons of the Forest. That was one that I had on my longer list. Yeah, it's multiplayer.
And it is so much fun to build stuff with people.
Yeah. We were working on a tower there for a little bit. I don't know if we ever finished it.
Oh, we finished that tower, yeah.
Oh, did we? Okay, great.
Yeah.
I forget.
We still didn't make the shell racing tubes.
Okay.
We were going to do that from the top of the mountain to the bottom.
We're going to have to go crazy on the builds, but anyway.
Strike number 3.
Okay, Steve.
Keep 4. Strike 3. You're out.
Wait, keep 4?
Keep 4, strike 3.
Okay.
Just because I feel like I have more to say about 4 than I do 3.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. I'm going to show mine.
I realized that I had forgotten like a huge one, and so I had to move things around.
Gotcha. I understand. I said this is a rolling list, so it's fine. All right. So I'm going to bring up my number 4, most anticipated. And so far, I have not switched up my order, so this is very much the order I would put it in. My number 4, most anticipated, is A Plague Tale Requiem. Now, for those of you that don't know what A Plague Tale is, I did a full playthrough of it, live stream, a while back. I think there's a playlist for it on the YouTube channel if you want to go back and look at it. But the premise is you are controlling or playing as this sister and brother combo. And it is just and all the while there's this obviously a plague happening, and most of the game you're trying to figure out what's going on with the plague, but a big part of it is you as the older sister are trying to protect your brother, and there's a lot of mystery, there's a lot of crazy things that happen, and there's a lot of crazy things going on with the little brother. This was a game that I kind of picked up on a whim, thinking, oh, this will be okay. And it ended up being like really, really good for what it was. Talking again about just a smaller project that did well enough and has now been given full guns, go hard on the next one. They're going hard. Like, I mean, this trailer, number one, it just looks worlds better than the first game did. But also it just looks insane. It looks insane what all the stuff that's going to happen. Yeah, the waves of rats that are in, part of the plague happening. But anyway, the best part about this game though is the bond between the older sister and her younger brother. And I'm blanking on names now. I want to say Amelia, but I don't think that's right. Anyway, that's what I loved about the last game, and then the gameplay was pretty good. But I'm expecting the gameplay to be better in this one. She actually had a crossbow in some of the gameplay. I don't know if you noticed. In the last one, all you really had was a slingshot, and it was not. The intent was for you to not get in confrontations or fights. Like, you were supposed to avoid that if you could. Not that you weren't supposed to kill people, but like, just you weren't supposed to be seen or get caught. It was very stealth based for the most part. There were a couple of boss fights, but anyway.
Amicia and Hugo.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
But it's going to be so good. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things on my list, but this had to be number 4. It almost was higher, but I decided to give some other things a higher placement. But very, very excited about A Plague Tale Requiem. I think it's coming to all platforms. In fact, I think it might be coming to Game Pass.
I think the first one's on Game Pass. So
the first one is on Game Pass right now, so I think it might be launching straight to Game Pass, but I don't think it's an Xbox exclusive.
I don't think it would be.
Anyway, don't quote me on that, but it's going to be a good one, and so I highly recommend it for anybody who is interested. And if you're interested in just watching it, go back. Like I said, we've got a full Let's Play, if you will, live stream of the whole game. So, all right, Steven. So I'm a little confused now. Am I going to number 2 for you?
Oh, hold on. Flynn unplugged my headphones. Okay.
Am I going to number 2 for you? Is that
number 2 is next? Yes. You are skipping number 3. That'll be an honorable mention.
I'm surprised that this one is so low on your list.
Because I knew I was the only one that would bring it up.
I know, but I'm surprised it's not like your number 1 still.
Wait, which one was it?
These are not really in any particular order for me.
Well, you know what, Steven, you're doing it wrong. Oh, hang on. This is an ad. Let me run that ad.
I'm really not, though, because I'm like I said, a lot of these I don't know a lot about, and so I'm just kind of taking it. Like, I'll know where they rank when it's closer to time, but we're not doing the podcast.
There's a couple on my list that it's the same.
Yeah,
I understand that.
The gameplay looks cool, and I know it's going to be a good game.
I feel like this one,
but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like this one's going to get some overhaul because it's been pushed to Q3, Q4.
All right, well, I got it up now, so go for it.
Marvel's Midnight Suns, the greatest video game trailer of 2021. This is the current game.
It's playing right now.
It's playing right now. Marvel's Midnight Suns. So Jake Solomon of XCOM, Enemy Unknown, Enemy Within, XCOM 2, basically the guy who reinvented XCOM and made it my favorite game series of all time, was like, hey, let's do a Marvel game. And that's what Midnight Suns is. Marvel actually approached him about it, which is just really cool for him. Mm-hmm. So basically it is taking Marvel characters from different areas of the universe. Like, you got some X-Men, you got Avengers, Blade's there, Nico from the Runaways for some reason. But taking all of them and putting them up against the darker side of Marvel. So like demons, vampires, all that kind of stuff. And so it's tactical gameplay, which right now it's deck based and it's only 3 heroes at a time per mission. I'm hoping that's one of the things that they're reinventing with the extra time in development, because I feel like 3 isn't enough, but whatever. Yeah, that's how a lot of people felt, Akib, that the gameplay looked bad, and it looks fairly mobile game-ish, which I'm worried about, but I trust Firaxis. I trust Jake Solomon, especially since this is a passion project for him. And it's not just the gameplay, like the actual combat that is interesting, but it's also that you create a character known as the Hunter, and you customize them completely. And you basically take the role of them in the, I forget what they call it. They say it in this trailer. Basically, you have a base that you are staying at with all of the heroes, and you get to live with these heroes and have conversations with them, develop relationships, spend time with them. That's really intriguing to me, and they're really pushing that as a selling point, almost as much as the combat itself. So that's that's an interesting. I don't know. I love XCOM. I love Marvel. And this is both of those things.
This is both of those things. Yeah, I think the unfortunate, honestly, to me, the gameplay looks good. It's just turn-based, tactical. It's not very fast paced. Do what now?
You say like it's a bad thing.
It is a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's just it's slower and not as high action. Like some of these moves that I've been watching that people do.
I would play a board game before I played this.
Are really cool.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
It's the same
It's
fucking thing.
just unfortunate that it's not as engaging, I think, for I guess most audiences. Like that doesn't really make sense. But you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't look like it's gonna have the same appeal that I think people were hoping for a better Marvel, like almost a better Marvel's Avengers, you know, where like we're running around, we're even not live action, but real time strategy instead of just turn based. But we'll see. I think there's a lot. I think it looks awesome. I'm excited to play it. I don't get to play a lot. I don't usually go for a lot of turn based games, but this is going to be good.
Thank you,
Akib. That's the worst thing you've ever said to me. Monopoly is the worst game ever created. But anyone who knew that Firaxis was behind this should know better than to expect anything real time, because that's not what they do. I can't think of a single non-turn based game that they've ever done. Yeah. And I know I'm in the minority here. Well, you less so. Jeremy does not like turn based. Jake, you don't hate it.
I don't hate it. In fact, I would even wager to say that in certain instances, I like it. With me, the thing with me is you've got to hit one of my boxes, and superheroes is one of those boxes. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, like for whatever reason, at least the Nintendo side of that hit my boxes, and I was ready to go on that. So but something like XCOM, even where it's just like, oh, you're fighting off aliens. Okay, and I know it's deeper than that. And there's more going on, but like just on a surface level,
right?
That's not really something that's going to just grab me. Yeah. So
anyway,
this has a lot going for it. So
if it was anyone else doing this game, like if the footage I have seen was not Firaxis, I would be very concerned. But it's Firaxis, and they know what they're doing. So right. I think that the final product that we're gonna get is going to be good. It's not going to be for everybody, but I think I'm going to enjoy it. So.
Well, that's all that matters, Stephen, because this was your most anticipated list that we're hitting. But now we're going to Big Germ for his number 4. Big Germ, which one am I pulling here? J2?
No, do J4 at this one.
J4. Okay. Oh, interesting choice. I like how low this is going to be.
I don't have a lot of faith in it, to be honest, but
I don't either.
From that last gameplay trailer, it looked fun.
I'm glad you put it on here so we can talk about it, but it did not make my list at all.
Yeah.
So
I would honestly put Sons of the Forest at like number 3 on my list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I sent the list to you, not in a particular order.
Right.
But this is the Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League. And it looks like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, gameplay looks phenomenal. The story seems very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to learn some more about it.
Yeah.
And a DC version of the Avengers game sounds awesome to me. So
yeah.
Rocksteady, right?
Rocksteady, yeah.
Yeah, that's the developers
every single game they've ever made. So
they have not missed with the Batman games. The Batman Arkham games have all been amazing. They're making this.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of gameplay and I guess probably more importantly gameplay feel, I mean what they did with Batman Arkham Asylum, the flow of combat that they had in that pretty much changed the game in the industry.
There's not really another game that I can really compare to it, to be honest.
No one's done it better, but everyone's tried to make their version of it since then. So I don't know, but yeah, the Marvel's Avengers is a great comparison here, Jeremy, of just kind of similar idea. I don't think it's going to feel like Marvel's Avengers. I feel like it's going to be more. I feel like it's going to be a closer kind of a merging of something like, I don't know, Borderlands might be a better comparison than like
it's going to be a lot more
Division.
chaotic.
But yeah, something just chaotic.
It's
still
gonna
fun.
be it's gonna be Avengers, but with less of an attention span.
Yeah,
like it's basically
100%. That is a great way to put it, Steve.
and I mean, it looks like it's gonna be fun. It looks slick, but at the end of the day, I need to know if there's more of a roster. I need to know like what these characters like, what they do. Like, is there?
I agree and disagree. I agree because I do want to see some sort of like skill tree.
Yeah.
Or some sort of like character development as far as like you being able to pick abilities or powers or
Right.
upgrade them as you see fit. But to be honest, at the end of the day, like down to the nitty gritty, it just looks like a fun turn your brain off, beat the shit out of everybody around you.
It does. Yeah.
I know me and you go for those. Hey, we want to build
a
loadout for somebody and try to do things.
Right.
So
and I'm that person that defends Avengers in every conversation that I have, because somehow I find a person in every conversation that I have that bashes Avengers. But I
hopefully keep.
Finish your thoughts, Steven. I want to go to this in a second when you're done.
I hope that it's not just trying to do what Avengers is doing. I hope it's trying to do its own thing.
From the gameplay, and I'll admit that trailer was probably better than some of the ones I think I've seen. I don't know how I missed that one, but
that was the newest one.
That was Game Awards.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was
gotcha. I might have missed that one, or I might have skipped it if I was rewatching. But that looked a lot more. That looked a lot more fun than I thought it would be based on the other trailers that I had seen. But to your point, Steven, it definitely looks different than Avengers. I think that comparison really only works in comparison of concept.
Yeah.
Of just, here's a team of anti-heroes or villains.
Well, it's four comic book characters teaming up against hordes of robots in third-person combat with a mixture of melee and ranged attacks. It's pretty dang close when you,
as per their abilities.
Yeah. I think those are aliens or something.
It's Brainiac robots.
Brainiac robots,
which is basically AIM robots, but with extra steps.
To bring back up Akib's question here of like, or his point, I want to see more heroes, but I would not be mad if it was just these four. Do you guys think we're going to see?
I think it depends on what they're going for. If this is a service title, they have to. But if this is a game where
it's a one and done,
if it's a Outriders situation, then I think we're fine. But
knowing Rocksteady, they're probably not going to do a service title.
Yeah, that's my thought too. But this game seems like a huge departure for them.
Yeah. It's
anyway,
a lot different than anything they've done for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, speaking of things that are not departures, I'm gonna jump to my number 3 on the list, and I think you will both be excited by my pick, which is God of War Ragnarok. Number 3.
I knew your entire list before you even started it.
Look, I'm an easy man to please. You know what I mean?
I'm excited for it too, Jake.
Yeah,
very exciting. I am honestly surprised we're getting it as quickly as we are.
Are we?
I mean,
what's the current date? Is it just 2022?
Now, I don't. That's a great question. Somebody else. Someone back me up on this.
It's just 2022.
I feel like this is going to be a February 2023.
It's not coming 2022.
Yeah,
it's going to be first or second quarter 23.
Yeah.
No, I think it'll be fall of 2022. Easy. I think what Sony's current plan is to have Horizon Forbidden West kind of be their big thing for the spring and then this be their kind of closer for the fall. And then we'll have a lot of indies and other things in the middle. But I mean, could be wrong, absolutely. But honestly, what sells me on that thought is this trailer. This is really we've seen 2 trailers. The first one was literally just the name. And then they showed this one, I forget where, one of the PlayStation showcases. And I mean, this is it's a 3-minute trailer. But it shows a lot. And way more than I would have expected. Again, kind of in y'all's mindset of, oh yeah, this thing it's going to be a while before this comes out. So once I saw this, I feel a lot more confident in it coming out in 2022. But anyway,
well, most of this stuff in the trailer, I would say, is reused assets from either the previous game or other games that are in their stable. That they're just like, these are kind of sit-ins for now.
Well, and
not indicative of the final product, but.
I mean, obviously, this clip of Thor here that they showed just there, that is literally pulled from the first game. But no, I think, Jeremy, this is a Breath of the Wild 2 situation where they probably took the same engine and just kind of kept building on it. I don't think they definitely didn't rebuild or create. I mean, obviously, they've created a lot of new assets.
Why would they? It was gorgeous on PS5. It'll be even better on PS. It was gorgeous on PS4.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
This is very much just a continuation of the first game, and not. I don't know how. It sounds weird saying it like they didn't do anything different. Like obviously they're doing a lot of stuff, but
why change the formula when it works?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So no, I feel pretty confident about it. But
absolutely.
Beyond just confidence in it coming out, I mean, I'm very excited about it. I did not care about God of War until God of War on PS4, this most recent one, came out. Pretty much not completely changed the character of Kratos, but really gave a lot of depth to Kratos. Created
it kind of reinvented him for the new generation of console.
Yeah. Absolutely. His story with Atreus, there's a lot of really curious things at the end of the first game. I'm really curious to know where that's going to go. Boy. I hate that this is going to be the end of the Norse mythology stuff, just because I do like Norse mythology a lot better than the Roman mythos that they have done before with him. So I'm excited for whatever they'll go to next, but I don't know. I'm very, very excited for this one. So anyway, that's my number 3. Steven, what number here am I pulling from you? I'm skipping 3, going to 4.
The first 4 is my number 3.
The first 4 is my number 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a good pick.
I'm trying to target games that I'm 95% sure are actually coming out.
I'm more excited about this than I was previously because of the new gameplay trailer.
I agree.
Go for it, Steven. What are you talking about?
This is Wonderland, which it's more Borderlands, but it's trying something different. Instead of playing as one of 4 or however many Vault Hunters, you create your own character based on one of 4 classes. So that's cool. I like that. I think it's 4 classes. I know we know of 4, but I don't know if they stopped there or not. Basically, you are playing a game that is a game that Tiny Tina is playing within the world of Borderlands. She is playing Dungeons and Dragons, and you are playing it in the game that you are playing.
And she's your DM.
she's your DM. And a bunch of different characters, like you saw Brick in there for a second. He's a fairy for some reason, which is hilarious. I think Torg, whatever. Yeah, Torg, I think is his name. Who is the CEO of a company that makes guns that just explode. He is a bard because he just screams all the time. Like it does fun things with the characters in the world. It's going to have the gunplay, the loot, all that jazz, but it's going to have magic spells, bows, swords, all that jazz. It's taking Borderlands and it's making it fantasy. I need to see more about that. I'm getting this game, but
there's a giant keto right there. Come on. There's a Cheeto on the board.
Cheeto on the board. What more do you want?
And she lifts it and eats it.
I'm curious to see, like, is this as full-fledged of a game as like Borderlands 3 or Borderlands 2, or is this more of like a $40 kind of game where you get less of an experience, but it's something different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I hope that it's I hope this is as much game as Borderlands 3 was, but without the awful story, because Borderlands 3 makes me cringe every time I think about it. But I love the series. Even though the writing is getting worse with every passing second.
I don't think it's going to do much service to the actual Borderlands story at all.
Oh,
but
right.
I think it's going to be a good like toe in the door for people that don't really know a lot about Borderlands.
Yeah. The problem with Borderlands 3 with its story was that it was trying to be like poignant to gamers, but in the same way that, like, you know, that meme of Steve Buscemi coming up with the skateboard saying, "Hello, fellow kids." Like, that's kind of how it felt. But
that's great. Yeah.
But it was just not well done. It was trying to be serious, but also not trying hard enough, and just thinking that it can be irreverent and try to make just really adolescent jokes, which, you know, that's Borderlands, but for some reason 3 just was worse. I feel. I hope that this game keeps the silliness, but just stops being 5 years old.
There was a Cheeto on the board, Steven.
I know. But
the silliness is
there, you know, honestly, in the scale, I feel like a Cheeto joke or a Cheeto bit is way better and more mature than a fart bit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so there's levels to it. There's levels to it.
I want, like, Borderlands 2 was the peak. That game had the right amount of serious, the right amount of silly, and its sense of humor, though juvenile at times, had just great funny moments. That's what I want out of this game. I hope that we're there. I mean, the fact that Andy Samberg and Will Arnett are both in it has me very excited. But you know, we'll see. At the end of the day, I'm expecting a looter shooter with lots of loot, lots of shoot, and I think I'm going to get that.
This is, of all the Borderlands, this is probably the one that I like. I think I got Borderlands 3, but I don't think I got very far in it at all.
I don't know if you got it. I think we played it split screen.
Did we just play it split screen? I didn't like anything about it. And even this, like, I know you said there were magic spells, and I know you said there were bows and swords. I still saw mostly guns. So
yeah. It's a shooter. It's a game about guns.
At its core, it's going to be a shooter. For sure.
Yeah. I want to see a build where I'm just shooting magic and swinging a sword or shooting a bow, and
so
then I'll be more interested. But
then you're not going to like this game.
Yeah, I don't think I am.
The way the magic works is that grenades have been replaced with magic spells, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
And there is a class called the Spell Slinger. And their whole thing is that they're supposed to be kind of like a combination of like a gun duelist and a magician. So, like, they use like wizard spells, but I think they can like dual wield spells or something like that. They sound like a lot of fun.
Gotcha.
If there was a chance for you to enjoy it, it would probably be the Spell Slinger.
Yeah. Well, I'm willing to give it a try. So, all right, Jeremy, we're coming to you. The world turns lonely eyes to you for number 3.
J5 action.
J5
action. Yeah.
I love the naming structure we've come up with for you guys. I really do. All right, I'm dropping it in here. Gonna bring it up.
This is one of those that I know very little about. I played the first one and loved it. I probably put like 6 hours or 7 hours into it, maybe. But it was one of those games I would always like to go back to.
Yep.
But this gameplay trailer,
for people watching online,
from start to end, I'm sorry, it's Stalker 2.
It's running a little slow, but let me see if I can fix that. Sorry, continue, Big Germ.
What was the full title on there? Stalker 2. It's Heart of Chernobyl.
Heart of Chernobyl.
Yeah. So weirdly, I'm a huge fan of the whole Chernobyl incident because I like post-apocalyptic kind of things, and the pictures from Pripyat are very interesting to me.
Did you ever watch the show on HBO Max?
Yes.
Is it good?
It's so good. Yes.
Okay. I need that's on it's
Definitely
on like a
go
very
watch it.
long backlog of TV shows to watch, but anyway, sorry.
Definitely go watch it. But the gameplay just looks so beautiful and solid that I'm extremely excited for this one. It's definitely top 5 for me because there's not a whole lot of games coming out this year that I'm like excited about, but it looks like a solid shooter with some really strange mechanics as far as the like
the anomalies and stuff.
The anomalies near the water when he walks over there, and the different like them telling stories around the campfire there. I'd like to see the interaction between other people in this whole like post-apocalyptic environment.
Yeah,
it's very Metro-esque.
Yes, I played Shadow of Chernobyl and a little bit of Call of Pripyat. For not much, but I've played them, and before I could get into them, I found Metro, and Metro was what I needed out of this game, like this kind of game, which was narrative focused, but still like guided, but not feeling super linear.
Yeah.
So now that I've played through Metro, I think I'm ready to revisit Stalker.
Yeah.
And looking at this, it does feel like they've taken the good things of Stalker that Metro didn't have and the good things about Metro, and they've like combined them into this allegedly like beast of a game, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. And they were going to do NFTs and then they didn't. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm glad they backed that down. Well, what I learned from that whole conversation is that a bad year for Jeremy is a great year for me. So,
no, I mean, as far as like making a top 5 list, obviously Horizon, obviously God of War, like the big PlayStation exclusives, I'm extremely excited for.
Yeah,
but I knew that you were going to have those on your list, so I tried to steer away from those.
I understand.
And make more.
I understand.
Independent choices.
I have 11 other games that I could have put on this list, and only one of them has been a game that y'all have brought up. So I'm looking forward to a banger year, and to continue talking about my banger year that we're about to have. My number 2 most anticipated is for Horizon Forbidden West.
I had this.
I bet I know what number 1 is.
I'm telling you, Jake, I had your top 5 to a T.
Oh, I know, Steven.
Like in the exact order of which it was.
If you looked at my 2021 most anticipated,
well, I did, and I still knew.
Anticipated for 2022 is, with a few exceptions, but you know. But yeah, no, I'm super excited. This is coming out in just a few. I think I forget. It's in February, but it's like early February. I forget.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's coming up very, very soon. I've been trying to hold myself back from replaying 1, just because I don't want to burn myself out on the game before it comes out. But Horizon, what I'm really looking forward to this one is I really liked Horizon Zero Dawn. I really liked the story. I obviously really liked the gameplay with all the bow combat and all the stuff that was happening there. But what ultimately was the detriment of this game was that Breath of the Wild came out days after it did. And so I played Horizon until Breath of the Wild came out. And then it was months before I was back trying Horizon Zero Dawn. And even then, and really at that point, it became the game that I kind of always came back to and not the game that I was like playing. You know what I mean? Not unlike Deathloop this year, where Deathloop was the game that I just kind of kept coming back to after other games came up in the cycle. But yeah, Horizon Forbidden West, they just took Zero Dawn and basically any complaint that people had, which hilariously enough are things based on things that Breath of the Wild did, like adding free climbing and the glider and lots of other stuff. They have added all of that and more. The game just looks beautiful. And again, the story in the first one was great. I am really excited to see where they go with the second one. in a new location. Lots of really exciting potential here. New monsters. We get to ride more monsters, or I say monsters, dinosaur robots, whatever you want to call them. It just looks like an overall improvement. And again, Sony has really been doubling down on their first party titles being game of the year contenders. And my only regret for Horizon is that as of right now, it looks like another Breath of the Wild is coming. And even though it's probably not going to be weeks apart this time, when it comes to game of the year
did you
conversation,
really just say
it's still
probably not? Jake, it's a month away. We're not getting Breath of the Wild 2 in a month.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. But hey, you never know.
We're not getting.
No, we do know, Jake. We're not getting it in a month.
We're pretty sure. We don't know. Okay, you know what I mean.
We're not getting.
We can say with some confidence that it's not going to launch anytime soon, until the end of the year. But anyway, all I'm saying is it's just still unfortunate that this game is probably ultimately going to sit in the shadow of Breath of the Wild 2. And
you're giving too much credit to Breath of the Wild.
I would love to be wrong, because I really hated that.
They're two extremely different games for me.
Well, I know, but
I understand their release date was close and everything like that, but this was one of the few games that I like 100%. I made sure I went through the entire map and got every single thing before I went and did that final mission.
Same.
And it was so beautiful.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was really, really good. And Jeremy, you're right. They're completely different games. But this is, in a lot of ways, if all of these games do come out, we're going to see pretty much a redo of, I think it was 2017 Game Awards,
16.
Which was it 16? Yep. It was Horizon and Breath of the Wild, and I forget what else was there, but Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year. And any other year, Horizon would have stomped the ground with competition. Yeah. So I just hate that this year, again, it's potentially going up against Breath of the Wild 2 and God of War 2, which, again, another Game of the Year winner.
Contender,
yeah. And like, if Horizon had happened this year, if it had come out in November, it would have easily been Game of the Year forever. It would have been the undenied winner, as opposed to this year where we've got so much option.
Don't have to be out very long for them to win Game of the Year anyway. So,
right, exactly. It easily could have won and come up, but anyway, it's a little sad that we're kind of re-experiencing what happened in 2016. Yeah. But all that to say, I'm very excited about Horizon. Cannot wait to play it. I'll definitely be streaming it.
Hold on.
What's happening now?
I'm checking because I know Breath of the Wild came out in 2016, but I don't remember what month it came out. So I'm just checking.
I don't know that. Did Overwatch win a Game of the Year award?
It shouldn't have, but it may have.
Overwatch did win, so it must have been 2017 that Breath of the Wild won, but it came out in 2016, right? Yeah. When did it come out?
Game award.
Jake, it's
also here's
February 18th.
Thank you, February 18th. Yep. Not too far away.
Here's a hot take. I hate Breath of the Wild. I finally have decided that I do not like it.
Where the hell is this coming from?
Because I tried.
Played it?
Yeah, I've played it a lot. Like, once I finished exploring, I realized I don't enjoy this game anymore, and there's nothing here for me. I've gotten
it does have zero replay.
Like, I got 3/4 of the way through the story. I think I was one divine beast away from
twice. I'm just here to tell you.
So. The combat is bad. The control.
What?
Yes, it's bad.
Steven.
3 hits and any weapon's broken. It's bad, Jake.
No.
The archery is bad.
The archery is not bad. They actually have drop and everything.
So Skyrim has drop, and that game can be played on a refrigerator.
Most games don't have drop with their arrow and their bow combat.
That's not true.
Destiny doesn't, and I know you're going to push that against Destiny, but I feel like there are plenty of games that don't pay attention to that detail of drop in bow. But
Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time had arrow drop.
Well, I know, because Nintendo pays attention and does good detail.
I'm telling you that any game with a bow that isn't Destiny, because Destiny doesn't care about anything other than the money that they make, is going to put arrow drop on their post.
I knew I should not have brought up.
Then why?
It's the only one I could just bring to my attention. There was one game, and I'm trying to think of what it was that I was playing. You'll love this too. Fortnite.
How long is this gameplay trailer?
Anyway, it's very long. It's very long.
This is the one they made us wait 12 hours for. So.
That's right. Yeah. Where they were doing the scenes back to back, and there was like four of them.
The reason Breath of the Wild is so iconic is because it reinvented Zelda. If Breath of the Wild was not Zelda, it would not be remembered near as well as it has been. I think a lot of it is just the excitement of something new, but I think the game itself is incredibly flawed, and I just cannot force myself to play it, even though I want to. Like I've wanted to play it, but every single time I've gone back to play it, it's just like, I don't enjoy this. This is not fun, because I've done the fun part, which was exploring, and I completed that, and everything else was just a chore.
A hard agree to disagree, but yeah, 2016 was Overwatch. 2017 was Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. That was the year that Horizon lost to that, I'm pretty sure. And then 2018 was God of War. 2019 was Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. That was a nice solid win. I think we were all very excited.
That made no sense, because they gave literally every other award to I think that was the year they gave every other award to Red Dead Redemption, and then Sekiro which I'm fine with Sekiro winning, but when it wins literally nothing, and then they're like, hey, game of the year, that don't add up.
I think that was why I was happy about it, was because I knew you were going to be really upset if one of the other games won. So I was just like, oh, Sekiro, that's one that we can't be upset about. So anyway, all right, Steven.
That's fair, Gabe. It's not for you.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
What are we talking about? Played 20 minutes of Horizon.
God of War Horizon. Hold that thought. I've got to let Flynn in.
Okay, well, Akib, if it wasn't for you, it wasn't for you. You know what I mean? So, Jeremy,
we're also old guys.
We are old guys. Jeremy, never mind, he's back. Okay, that was quick. Steven, what number am I going to for you?
Number 4, 2.
Number 4, 2. Number 4.
The second number 4.
The second number 4.
Yes.
All right, I am bringing it up right now for you. So go ahead.
This is probably my second most anticipated, and the winner of dumbest name for a video game 2022, Project Triangle Strategy, if that's even what it's called anymore.
That's why I have no idea what it is.
Yeah. So imagine it's done by Square Enix. Imagine the art style of Octopath Traveler, the gameplay of Final Fantasy Tactics, with the story of a Fire Emblem game. And those are three big hits for me.
Excellent way to describe this game.
Because it's got like the drama of like warring kingdoms from a Fire Emblem game, and you play as royalty trying to make decisions for your people. And the decisions you make affect the story, affect what your path is, and so affecting who joins your army. Very Fire Emblem. The art style is beautiful. I love that style that Octopath kind of pushed into the forefront. The mixture of like pixel 3D, 2D kind of look. I love that. I think it's awesome. And I love Final Fantasy Tactics. That's Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced and Advanced 2 for the Game Boy Advance and DS respectively. Two of my favorite games to play as a kid. And they actually are what introduced me. Them and Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. They introduced me to turn-based strategy and turn-based tactics games, and I've been hooked ever since. So this just seems like a huge amalgam of things I loved as a kid, like JRPGs, tactics games, Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy, all that stuff, just melded into rolled into one. And I don't know like anything about it. I just know what this trailer showed. I played the demo for a few minutes before I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to play this demo because I want the context of everything. And I didn't have the context because it was demo. So I stopped, and it wasn't because I wasn't enjoying it, but it was because I didn't want to
ruin it for yourself later,
ruin it for myself or create expectations or whatever. So this one's coming out in March, which like I said, March and February are stacked. But I'm really excited for it. Yeah, it just seems like one of those that is just going to be a delight to play, and it's going to be very nostalgic for me.
I'm excited to see your final thoughts on it once you actually get your hands on it, because this is one, again, I'm not a huge fan, turn-based is not necessarily a box of mine that I like to see checked, but you definitely got me with Fire Emblem story, and then just the style of the gameplay, the magic spells that are happening. There was an archer character I saw in there. I'm definitely, it's checking the boxes for fantasy setting and magic, and all that for me. So if you end up really, really liking this, I'm gonna have to give it a try. So I never did Octopath Traveler. I gave it a shot. I tried to play through a couple of the demos. I just couldn't get into it.
I will say Octopath is one of those games, and I've never beaten it. I've revisited it a couple times, but it is one of those that you really have to give it a few hours before you decide if it's for you or not.
Octopath is truly turn-based. You're not moving.
Yes, it's traditional.
Is this turn-based tactical?
This is turn-based tactical, to where it's a grid-based map, and so you can you have positioning.
It's all about placements and positioning and So I think that one extra layer makes it a little bit more interesting and more fun for me. I really enjoyed the Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that was. Do what now?
Flynn's whining on the couch because I'm not paying attention to him.
That was a lot of turn-based tactics as well. So again, if we have a good story like that, turn-based tactics, magic, I'm all in. But
I think the story has a lot of potential, because I wasn't really paying a lot of attention to the story until I watched that trailer today to find one to give to you. And as they were talking in the trailer, I was like, man, this is the most Fire Emblem thing I've ever heard since Fire Emblem Three Houses. So I'm really excited.
Oh man, awesome. All right, Germ.
I have absolutely nothing to say about that game. So J3.
J3. There we go. And now this is Steven. This is Jeremy's number 2 on the list. I know
this would be more my number 3 or 4.
Okay.
Like I said, I sent that list in no particular order, but
we're taking it as they come. So all right, I'm bringing it back up.
Akib, he sounds like a cat. I guess probably because he's a husky and they whine a lot.
Very cat-like.
So I started reading the Dune book recently, and found out that they're making an RTS. So I am super excited about this. I don't know a whole lot about it, and that's really all they have is this kind of teaser trailer.
It's probably going to be more Civ, less Age of Empires, though, right? Where there's a lot of economy, politics, everything like that.
Yeah. And it looks more like StarCraft than Civ, to be honest. But I'm super excited about it because of the lore and everything in that world. I absolutely love it. The movie, the old movie is great. The new movie is phenomenal. I love both. And I'm excited to see the sequel to that. But the book itself, I'm 250 pages into it and only 10 minutes into the movie.
Dang.
So,
wow.
If that tells you anything, the book's 800 pages. But it looks super good, but it's not a whole lot of gameplay so far.
Right.
It's more of a little teaser than anything. But I'm excited for it.
Does this have a year at the end of it? Yeah, early access 2022. So that'll be cool. Awesome. Great pick. I didn't finish the movie. The new one that came to HBO Max. I didn't get to finish it, but I've heard nothing but good things about
it's good.
the Dune series. So,
which is funny because the old movie tells more of the story than the new movie does.
But it's just one movie, right?
Correct.
The old one. Yeah. See, I'm assuming since they're doing a sequel, they're gonna go deeper, in totality. Once they finish with part 2, I would hope it would be more of the book than the original. But anyway, whatever.
It's a little more from what what they've said that they're gonna do. They were originally gonna do a trilogy. Now they're only doing 2 movies, and it's gonna go a little bit further in depth than the first movie, the original movie from the 80s. but it'll be along the same lines. The original movie actually tells the story very close to the book.
Gotcha.
The new movies, they take some liberties, but it's still pretty close as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get to finish that one, but it looks good. If the game's good, I might have to try the game. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the number one pick, and I will start us off with numero uno for me, and that is, of course, Breath of the Wild 2. The Untitled game that I am really hoping comes out this year. So we had the most recent trailer from the E3 Nintendo Direct from 2021. It ends with 2022 in the date. So I am hoping really strongly that they stick to that. But it's more Breath of the Wild. You know what I mean? It's again, just like a lot of these sequels we talked about. Here is what you loved plus a lot more, and just improved. This is what I have wanted since playing Breath of the Wild 1. I just hoped that they would kind of take the approach of Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask, just create a sequel kind of set in a similar, or obviously set in the same world in this instance, but kind of using the same engine and world building and everything. So just super, super excited to see where this goes and just how they iterate and build off of the greatness that they made in 20, I guess it was 2017, with the first game. So again, I know Steven, you just talked about how you didn't like it, but this was my game of the year then, and I have played through it multiple times and still kind of go back to it today just to roam around and run around. So I based on what we're seeing, it looks like just more good stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of new stuff. I could go into detail of all the different things that this trailer shows you, but it's going to be very exciting.
I'm sure it'll be fine, but it needs to do the things that it did extremely poorly that other open world games do way better than it does. It needs to fix those. Otherwise, it didn't learn anything. And I mean, I'm all for innovating a franchise, and Breath of the Wild definitely innovated Legend of Zelda, but it did not in itself create the perfect open world game. It had a lot of stumbles and flaws, and so they need to fix them. That's what they should do with a sequel, and if they do, then great. I'll probably really like it. But
I'm debating how much I want to go into this because I'm really curious what those pitfalls are in your mind.
Well, for one, the world was incredibly empty. There was a lot to explore and a lot to see, but there was nothing to do other than explore and see it. So once you did all of those things, then...
But I mean, that's kind of a complaint that most open world games get, is it not?
It depends on the game. Like a lot of games, and harp on the Ubisoft formula as much as you want, but and again, I'm not the one defending Ubisoft. I probably never will be ever again. But they fill their worlds with activities, things to do, whether good or bad.
And this is something funny because I feel like this is a complaint you usually have. You at least you usually talk about how you hate chores and how you hate just ticking off things.
And Breath of the Wild is a chore.
I don't think it is. I think a lot
they
of
whereas
a
bunch of seeds.
Well, whereas in a Ubisoft game, you might go, a couple feet and have lots of objectives like, hey, here's a feather to chase down to pull from Assassin's Creed 2, or hey, here's a lookout point to go to. I feel like Breath of the Wild, you find interesting landmarks that, sure, sometimes only give you a Korok seed, but you usually get a pretty interesting landscape versus just a generic, and not even generic, but just here's a city, or
exploring
here's
a pretty world with no depth to it. Like there's nothing to do with the world other than just kind of see it, and it's beautiful, and I love the world they created, but it's just kind of empty, and there's just not a lot to do. And maybe I find a cool sword from my exploration. Too bad the thing's going to break within the first fight because the combat is absolutely broken. It's not the combat is maybe like 5 to 10% more of an improvement in terms of like actual action from another Zelda game, like pick any, but it added the frustration of being punishingly difficult and frustrating with the fact that you can't just stick with a weapon. You just kind of have to use what you get. And that's probably the biggest frustration with Breath of the Wild is just how awful weapon breaking is. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I just don't like it. Like, I just think that people give it more credit than it deserves, saying that it's the perfect open world game when it's not. It has problems, and I sincerely hope that the second one remedies those, because then you could have a really good contender for like the gold standard for open world games. But I think Breath of the Wild was very much an experiment that attempted and succeeded at innovating Legend of Zelda. But what you get when you have innovation is experimentation, and experimentation is very rarely garners a 100% success rate. And
I don't have to do much to defend Breath of the Wild here, but I won't argue that it is the perfect open world game, because no game is perfect. There's always something you're going to want to do better and improve on, but it innovated not just Breath of the Wild, but it took existing ideas like open world and freedom in games and really, really, really broke that. The climbing. You can literally. We've heard for years. We've heard for years, Stephen. We've heard for years that, hey, you see that mountain over there? You can go there. And like, sure, you might can use your horse in Skyrim to kind of shimmy up the mountain, maybe. But in Breath of the Wild, literally, except for the edge of the world where you can see some stuff, but it's the end of the level. You can literally go anywhere in Breath of the Wild. And part of that too, they give you all the tools in the beginning. And so there's no areas that are locked off based on an item that you need or a skill that you haven't acquired yet. You can go anywhere.
Stamina.
Well, but I mean, stamina to some degree, but even then, you have cooking at your available to you, and sure.
But when you're first starting out with the game, you're not going to be like, "Oh, I need to go cook something to climb this giant mountain over here." Yeah. You're going to go try to do it and be like, "I can't do it."
Right.
But I mean, you still can though if you wanted. Like, I mean, you could go and fail and then make a recipe to have a lot of stamina, and then you could go and do it. So I'm just saying. There aren't many games you can point to. I'd love to hear some if you guys just have some that basically just said, hey, here's all the tools you need to get through this whole world. Go. You know what I mean?
Kalen just showed up and said, gotta go. Like, that's the first thing he said.
He's probably been here the whole time.
I could point you at a few. I would need time to.
I would love to hear it, because I'm pretty sure that was one of the things that everyone kind of praised about it. A lot of people say, oh, you have freedom, oh, you can do whatever, but Breath of the Wild really was one of the first that just said, look, here you go, you can climb anywhere, any obstacle, if you can figure it out, you can get around it. I'm so shocked to hear both of you kind of countering that, because I'm
not countering it at all. I'm just saying you can't start the game immediately and go anywhere.
Yeah. Have you watched speedrunners in this game?
Okay,
because
speedrunners have literally played through the game 10 fucking times and know exactly what recipe they need to make the stamina 3 bars.
Yeah.
And that's my point, is you can't pick up the game and immediately go, I want to climb that mountain and start climbing that mountain, because you're going to run out of stamina.
But Jeremy, about 10 feet in. I feel like that is such a technicality. You know what I mean? Like, you can go climb that mountain. You're going to fail because you don't have the stamina, like you said, or the knowledge of hey, I need to make a recipe to do this.
Exactly, yeah.
But you can. Like, there's not an item that you have to go acquire.
You have to go cook something. So you do have to go acquire something to climb the mountain.
I feel like you're really. It seems like you're just pulling a technicality on that, but whatever. I don't. This is Jake, a really strange argument,
and I am just go climb the mountain. You can't. You have to cook something to climb that mountain from the
The
very beginning
fact
of
that you can even climb the mountain
Okay.
is in my mind is wild. That this
Stamina
is
pending, yes.
God, I hope this is Brody. Brody said my only complaint
it's Brody.
would be that the story was too scarce. I would agree with
I'm
that.
not saying like I'm not insulting your firstborn, Jake. I'm just saying
You are. You literally are.
Breath of the Wild is incredibly flawed, and I have played better open world games. Not saying that their open world is better, but I have played games that are better overall that
I
are
love
open
Breath of the Wild. I really do.
Like I
Absolutely
enjoyed my time exploring it, but it did not innovate the open world as much as people say it did. It just innovated Zelda.
I'm really getting mad. Like, I'm so angry.
Okay, but
you can say that you didn't like it, but you cannot say that it did not.
I'm saying that, and I can prove it.
Please bring up a game that has done that. That came before Breath of the Wild.
That did what?
that gave you everything.
Any open world game.
No.
That's what makes it an open world game. You see it, you go there.
But aside from like
understand.
Assassin's Creed, which again is another technicality, like Horizon. This was one of the complaints about Horizon, and it was unfairly due because Breath of the Wild came in and just took over with this whole mindset. Horizon, when you come up to a mountain, you got to go around it. Like, you got to figure out something. Okay. Breath of the Wild, if you can figure out how to climb it and find places to pause and rest,
in Far Cry 5, I can get a helicopter and fly over the mountain.
Whatever, guys. Whatever. Like, I am not the only one that has said this. I know that, and I am shocked to hear. I feel like I've heard you say this, Steven. So I just don't know where this is coming from. But whatever.
It's coming from just now that I've played the game again, and I got through the exploration, which is the one thing that the game did exceedingly well. I saw that the game lacks in a lot of other places that makes it unpleasant to play. That's all.
All right, whatever.
I love the game.
Steven, what's your I got your number 2 or your number 1 pulled up.
Go for it. This is the one that
I was really excited about it, but now I'm just going to figure out ways to crap on it. So.
Well, I have no personal attachment to this, so go ahead. That's why I put Triangle Strategy at number 2 instead of number 1. So this is the one that I remembered. I don't even remember why I remembered it, but it was in the middle of something Jeremy was talking about. This is The Day Before.
Brody, I need you to come back on this show. You know what I mean? I just need you to come back. Brody is back in
Jake,
the
it's okay to be told that you're wrong. Being as someone who gets told that they're wrong a lot, it's okay.
I feel like
whether you are the great thing about an opinion is that you can think it's right and everybody else can think it's wrong.
That's true.
Believe me, that's a pill that I've had to swallow every single time that I do a live stream.
You have to do it very often.
Yeah. But Day Before is, I don't even know the developer that's doing it. Basically take The Division in look, like the third person perspective with the kind of abandoned world kind of atmosphere, and put zombies in it, and you have The Day Before.
Days Gone and Division had a baby.
Yes. It looks very impressive just visually.
It promises a lot.
It promises a whole lot. And like every single time I see this game, I think there, and the trailer right now, you're hearing a radio broadcast of a guy who's basically having zombies beating at his door, and he's saying, I wish we could go back to the day before the world collapsed. And then he dies, and then it goes into gameplay. So that's why it was sitting on the radio for so long.
I jumped it ahead. I was wondering why I was just stuck on that.
Yeah. But this game promises a lot. Just even looking at just the driving mechanics, it's just it seems to have really good physics, like in terms of just the driving and getting the mud on the car, because you can get the car stuck. You'll see at one point in this trailer that a guy gets attacked by a zombie from behind, and he shoots at the zombie. He misses, hits his car from stray bullets. After he kills the zombie, he has to go and fix the car. It's a very involved kind of, I guess you can call it an open world survival game. We've seen that there are going to be like the middle of nowhere farm kind of atmospheres. There's going to be a city. I don't know if you saw that, Jeremy, but they showed like the ray tracing demo or whatever, and they're like in New York, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the world's going to work. I don't know if it's like you travel to certain maps, like there's a city map, there's a farm map, whatever. I don't know really anything about this game except for what this proof of concept, whatever you want to call it, shows.
My thought is that if it's going to be a PC exclusive, that they're going to make it server based.
Mm-hmm. Which so I don't think it is.
One server would be like a forest, one server would be like a city. It's very possible that they may include them all in one.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to travel between them depending on your area or whatever, but we'll see.
See, I think we had that conversation before, and I think I looked it up and was surprised to see that it is coming to console, but I could be wrong.
This game?
This game, yeah.
It's coming to console.
Is it? Okay. So something that you'll see in this game as well.
That guy wasting ammo?
Yes. Like that right there was just like, hey, I missed. Let me shoot the car. Like who is even playing this right now?
He shot the car 5 times before.
He shot it like 5 times.
I'm pretty sure in this demo they have like player characters talking, like they're chatting.
Probably, it's a very Division thing to do.
Yeah.
But of course, in a game like this, the gameplay that we see ends with our players that we're following. They hear other players, and they're if you want to skip ahead to where they're at the farmhouse, they hear other players, or they see
a little bit before that, Jake.
I don't remember where it is, but basically they see
right there.
They see police lights, and so they know, those are other players, and other players pull up and they escape. There's no combat that happens, so we don't know if it's going to be like a Dark Zone situation to where it's just every man for himself, or if there's going to be a mixture of PvE and PvP to where there are safe zones. I don't know. But that's one of the intriguing things about this game, is that, like, looking at this, like it looks impressive. Like just looking without any context whatsoever. But it is an indie studio, I believe, and they've been working on this game for a long time, and they've promised a lot. And I don't know how they're going to do it, but I really hope that they do.
It looks great. I mean, to reiterate a couple points you've said. When I first saw this, it was pitched to me as Last of Us meets Division 2, and I was just like, for me, that was awesome. I was just like, okay, this could be really, really cool. So I'm really glad to see you bring this back up. Do we know this is coming out in 2022? Does this have a date?
Yes.
Did you say that?
I want to say June, I think.
Yeah. I'm super excited to play this with you, and I think if there are actually other players, kind of like you said, in a Dark Zone situation, that's going to be really, really intense and like freaky and could be a lot of fun.
It's my nature to say things like, I really hope that I can turn the PvP off, because like
same.
I
get nothing more out of the experience.
Occasionally you can, like, there are moments where you get away just barely and you outwit the players, everything, and that's nice. Those moments are remembered. But speaking as somebody who's played Rainbow Six Siege for more than 5 minutes, those moments are so vastly in the minority that the game's legacy to me would be by far the times that I was frustrated, more so than the times that I thought that PvP enhanced the experience.
You always remember the bad times more than the good.
Absolutely. Well, and in these cases, it's because they vastly outnumber the good.
Yeah.
And so I hope that there is a way to not do PvP, or at least a way to control when PvP happens.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this could easily be replaced with just AI, if they wanted to give you that kind of experience, kind of like Deathloop did with the invasion mechanic that they had with Juliana. So that would be a really nice addition. Again, to your point of, this is an indie team, they're promising a lot. I don't know if they can achieve that, but that would be nice.
Yeah.
I think it could add a really intense. A real intensity to it, to have that kind of looming over our heads the whole time.
Yeah, but it only like that. The charm of that with games like this goes away so quickly because, especially on PC, the mindset of the player, the average player, because this is the world we live in, is not playing the game as intended. It's how can I break this game to where I can cheat everybody out of playing.
It's the problem with that we have with Sea of Thieves, where it's a game about being a pirate where people are pirates.
Well, it's a combination of that. It's a combination of that and people like literally cheating, like finding ways to break the game to where they either have like a god mode or they've hacked in some other way. Division Dark Zone was riddled with that, and it still kind of is.
If you use a specific loadout, you're
and that's the problem with things like that. Early on, like Division Beta, playing the Dark Zone was magical because you were on even playing field with everybody. They didn't.
In Division 1.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Was fun.
Yeah, it was until people figured out how to break the game, and that's the problem: is that people will always break the game, and you have either the situation to where it's not balanced, and it continues to be broken, or the developers balance to the PvP, and then it just stops being fun everywhere else too. And that's the catch that you have to deal with forced PvP or with PvP being a primary focus that's blended in with the PvE experience. Division 2 is the case in point. Like you will find no truer example than Division 2 Dark Zone. And so I'm hoping that there is a more customizable way to experience the day before. It looks beautiful. I love a good zombie survival game that's co-op. So I'm anxious to hear more. But kind of in the same vein of Rainbow Six Extraction, which is a game that did not make the list because
we'll see.
We'll see.
It was on my honorable mentions too.
Yeah, me too. It's one of those that like I'm waiting for the butt. It's a lot easier to expect the butt from Rainbow Six, but from this one, it's just like this. It seems too good to be true. Everything I see about it.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see the butt.
Gotta take it on a date first.
I'm waiting to see if I need to go check on Asher, but I think he made it, so that's good. Okay, before we hear Jeremy's number one, I do just want to pull up an article that I quickly pulled from Digital Trends by Giovanni Colantino. It was written on December 23rd of 2021, and it's titled "What Makes an Open World Game Like Breath of the Wild So Unique?" And it is mobility. Before Breath of the Wild, traversing an open world could be a pain. Players could walk around or get in a vehicle, but mobility tended to be limited. If you wanted to climb a mountain in Elder Scrolls, you'd often need to force your way up on the back of a horse, essentially exploring the game.
Wild that are heavily featured.
Breath of the Wild's biggest innovation was giving players true freedom when it comes to movement. That meant allowing Link to climb on any surface as long as he had stamina, or use a sailcloth to glide.
He has stamina.
To glide across the map. Ideas that broke the genre open, pushing developers to rethink how players interact with the world.
What other games have done that since Breath of the Wild?
I'm looking at the game. Immortals of Phoenix Rising, didn't that add climbing?
Well, that they just literally
Genshin
stole
Impact,
the entire. They stole the entire shtick of Breath of the Wild and just
both of those games.
Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West is adding climbing. So, I won't argue with you.
At no point did either of us say that Breath of the Wild did not create its own new physics for the games.
It innovated for Zelda, but it didn't really.
My whole argument was you have to have the stamina to climb the mountain. So you cannot immediately go and just climb
Jeremy,
the fucking mountain.
What other game does that before Breath of the Wild?
Shadow of the Colossus.
Whatever.
I have no argument against Breath of the Wild. I was literally saying, as a new player, new player, if you have never played Breath of the Wild before, you cannot go to a mountain and climb the entire thing. You have to have the stamina to do it.
All right, Jeremy, talk about your last game.
All right, J2.
I got it pulled up.
This is 2? I thought this was 1.
I got to walk.
Technically, it's my number 1, but
Ooh.
It's Shredder's Revenge. TMNT. I am a 90s baby. Early 90s. I was born in 89. So I grew up playing Turtles in Time extensively with my brothers and absolutely love this style of game. So I'm super excited to see something in the new genre or the new generation of consoles as well. Oh, Jake left.
Yeah, he had to take care of Asher.
Oh, I didn't hear him.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for it.
So I legitimately thought this was already out.
No.
Huh.
I don't think so.
So this is a remake of the classic arcade game. Is that what you're saying?
It's not a remake. No, it's a.
Oh, it's a new. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I love games like that.
So,
like
yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's an old arcade game essentially. So
yeah.
Okay, if you're talking about Saints Row or Gotham Knights, those are both honorable mentions for me because I kind of want to see more on both.
That's how I am with Gotham Knights. I'm excited for Gotham Knights, but
yes, Akib, you've got me very excited for Gotham Knights.
But
I love Batman, but
yeah, I'm excited for Gotham Knights. I need to see more. I'm gonna get it most likely, but I just need to see more. And I feel like that's one that I feel like they've talked about it a lot, and the more that I want to see is probably out there, but I just haven't looked for it. Let me see.
What I forget to keep. There was a lot that I kind of glanced over.
I see. The reason you said J2 is because you gave yours in ascending order, but you presented them randomly. Or not randomly, but in a different. Yeah. Okay. I understand. Honorable mentions. Do you have any?
The two I just mentioned. I'm kind of. Oh, the Hogwarts game.
Ooh, that's one of those that I saw it when I was looking through the list of games coming out, and I was like,
too. She just yelled.
Do we even think that's going to come out this year?
It says 2022, but I doubt it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am.
It's along the same lines as everything else. Like the development is going to be there, but they're going to want to polish everything.
Right.
Lord of the Rings. That's an honorable mention for me. I don't know that I'm super excited about it. The Golem.
Oh,
again, I want to see more gameplay on that before.
That thing is DOA for me.
That bad, huh? Jake, do you have Stray on your list?
Yes. Are we into honorable mentions?
Yes.
Have you gone through kind of all yours?
For the most
have y'all
part,
both gone through yours, or
like our 5? Yes, we're just kind of talking. We're just shooting around honorable mentions at this point.
Oh, we're just tossing them in. I didn't know if you were like each going down a list of.
No, I'm just kind of going over that list on Game Informer to.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotcha. I mean,
if you have any to throw in there.
I've got like 11 I can list off real quick if you want me to just hit them. So, my honorable mentions, Sifu was almost easily top on this list. That's coming out very soon. Coming out first week in February, I want to say.
I think so.
Looks very, very good. I won't mention much about it, but really, really excited for that one. Pokemon Legend of Arceus. I did end up pre-ordering that. I'm trying to support the idea of that game in hopes that they'll do it better next time, but we'll see. We've talked about some of these. Starfield. Put that on here. Very excited to see what that ends up being and where that goes. Evil West, which, if I remember correctly, is the Van Helsing style God of War, but if you were a cowboy fighting vampires and werewolves game. I've got Little Devil Inside. I've been really excited about this one for a while, but after the most recent gameplay showcase, I'm more hesitant on it. But really, up until that, I've been just so sold on what they're doing. So I'm really hoping that was a minor fluke. Midnight Fight Express. This was in a Game Awards or a Summer Game Fest showcase. It's a top-down fighting game. I was really surprised you guys didn't call it out when y'all watched the show, but that's all I really remember about it. I remember liking it and wrote it down as kind of a thing I want to keep up with. Planet Atlanta, which is a side-scrolling game, kind of in the vein of something like Inside, but with brighter colors and a more vibrant world. But that one looks really cool. The first trailer didn't sell me, but the second one totally did. So I'm looking forward to that. Redfall. I don't know if y'all mentioned Redfall yet, but that's the
it was
Arcane
on honorable
Studios.
mentions, but I don't.
Yeah,
that we know little enough about that to where I don't know if I can trust it's going to come out this year.
Well, Arcane Studios, you're fighting vampires. Vampires are a box that you can check for me, so I'm in. And again, I've liked everything Arcane's put out. I really liked the. Obviously, I like Deathloop, but I also really liked the
Dishonored.
Help me out, thank you, Dishonored. I really liked the Dishonored series games. So even if it is something PvP or PV whatever, I think it'll be a lot of fun. Splatoon 3, I'm very excited about that one. Finally getting a bow in Splatoon, so super excited. And then of course,
don't say finally like you're not the only person who wanted that.
I'm not the only person that wanted that.
Who find me 3 other YouTubers who were just like,
now YouTubers, I don't know, but I can pull up the Reddit right now.
You know what this paintball game needs? A bow.
Look, Steven, people like bows. I don't know what to tell you.
I just don't get Splatoon. That's one of those that's just like, you enjoy your game. I just don't get it.
There's a lot of things I don't get tonight, so we're cool.
Welcome to my world.
But anyway, were there any other honorable mentions you guys wanted to get through? I just had a long list. Like I said, I went through that Game Informer thing. I think Jeremy said he was looking over, so I had a bunch that I just wrote down.
The only other one, supposedly, like Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga is coming
out.
Thank
you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Super excited about that.
That was in
I love the Lego games.
That was almost in my top 5. Because if you look at the gameplay for this thing, it's wild.
It looks so good. So good.
Oh, Brody's coming in saying no one's going to say Elden Ring.
GTA 5 for refrigerator. It's an honorable mention.
Jeremy, did you mention Saints Row?
I was about to, yes.
Okay, great.
I'm still on the fence about it. Like I was a huge fan of the old games, even for how it went to the absolute extreme.
Hey, 4 was better than 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was more entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're not really going with like the gang style warfare that they did with Saints Row 2.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they're going back to 3, not back to 1. As a remake.
Yeah, and they should definitely go back to 1 and 2 because 2 was an absolute masterpiece in my opinion.
It was.
The fact that you had to hold like areas for the gang and like, it's just good.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who's only played Gat Out of Hell,
Gat Out of Hell was fun.
It was very fun.
Saints Row 4.
And having seen a more recent gameplay trailer for this, I am, it's on my radar. I definitely, I think it's one of those things that if you come in and say you like it, Jeremy, if it reviews pretty well, I may be interested. And just to jump back to Elden Ring, Brody, I am watching, you know what I mean? Like probably what'll happen with Elden Ring is that it'd have to come to like Game Pass or something for me to try it.
Yeah.
And then if I liked it, I would get it on PS5 and play it and actually like.
Thank you for being responsible, Jake.
Trying to be. You know, I've got plenty of other things that Steven's going to ask me to play with him. So
you know what you could do is you could just buy it on Steam and then refund your money because you get 2 weeks and 2 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
So
it
fun
might take
fact.
me 2 weeks just to even get to the point where I can play it. But anyway.
If you buy something on PlayStation and download it, you cannot return it.
Yep.
Regardless if you've played it.
Yep.
Or if you haven't played it.
There's very specific cases where you can get out of that. But yeah, the downloading portion is pretty rough to get out of. So
Oh, how about Chocobo GP? Anybody excited for that one?
Okay, let's be real though.
Steven actually kind of is.
I kind of am too.
It could be fun. It could be fun.
A Mario Kart style Chocobo Final Fantasy racer. Like
instead of blue shells, you're casting Faraga at people. Come on.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Any other ones we want to throw out before we wrap up?
Guild Wars 2, End of Dragons. It's coming in like a month. No one cares.
Did we even say Dying Light 2?
No, we didn't.
Because y'all never even brought it up.
Oh my god! Dying Light friggin' 2, guys.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's going to take excited about that one.
Yeah,
500 hours.
500 hours. Apparently, it's completion time.
To 100% it. That's like every side mission. It's got to be, but
yeah.
Well, and isn't there's a lot of multiple branching paths in that, correct? So I'm sure
probably.
Allegedly,
you have to play multiple
any game that says choices matter, multiple branching paths, that needs to be said with quotation marks till they prove themselves.
Well, but usually if there is at least one or two big choices that branch, even if it only truly branches 5 times, that's 5 different playthroughs you got to do. So, but anyway, okay, well, that was
Starship
great.
Troopers.
Oh yeah,
I'm probably not stoked for that one, but
I'm not either.
Still an honorable mention.
Yeah,
for Mike's sake.
Yep.
There you go. For Mike's sake. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our most anticipated games of 2022. Of course, you can probably expect us to do some live streams of a lot of the games that we mentioned here. So be sure to stick around, subscribe, follow, like, all that good stuff to see us get to that. Of course, this has been Chortlecast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We do this every Monday night, usually around 8:30 o'clock or so Central Standard Time. You can check this show out on our YouTube channel, chortlegames.com, Facebook and Twitter, both at Chortle Games, but then also on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/chortle_games. So watch wherever you like. And then if you're a podcast listener, Apple Podcast or Spotify, just search Chortlecast and you'll find us. But that's going to be it for tonight. Of course, this is not the only thing we do on the channel. We usually stream Thursday nights and Friday nights and Saturday nights. We have been doing a special bi-weekly Sentinels of the Multiverse campaign that we do on Wednesday nights. The plan, Steven, correct me if I'm wrong, is that we're going to try to do that this Wednesday. We've got to get the crew back together after the holidays and all the madness that ensued there. But the hope is we'll be doing that on Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we should be streaming then. So, Steven, I know you're itching to stream since you've been gone for a little while. So
I'm going to try to be available on Friday and Saturday, but I'm going to be working both nights at church, and I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, it might be a slow weekend then, because I will also be working Friday night and Saturday night. So, Jeremy, you want to do some Metroid Dread? It's all you if you want.
I might, actually. And then I've been thinking about hopping back on Super Metroid and doing another playthrough of that. So,
okay.
Well, look, a little bit of that.
Friday and Saturday is all you, man, if you want to take it. Well, we might try to do something Thursday together, maybe some more Rise, Steven, if that's something that would excite you.
Sure.
But we'll look at that. So look forward to a Thursday night stream at the very least, and then hopefully some Jeremy Metroid action Friday or Saturday or both. You never know. But anyway, if nothing else, we will see you guys next Monday with another episode of Chortlecast. Be good to one another. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.